Well, good morning to you, Grenada, Carriacou, Petite Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. It's just about 3 minutes going past the hour of 9 inside of the studios right here at Classic 105.5, 105.9 on the FM band. Good morning again to our listeners, our viewers, that is. That's locked in on GBN Television, Channel 7, Channel 11, Channel 20 if you're in cable, via our Facebook page or via our YouTube channel. It is another episode of To The Point for today, the 21st day of the month of January. I'm Joseph Cadore, you call me JC, and I'm here today, as I intimated to you, we have an open line, as you would appreciate. To The Point, it gives you the opportunity as citizens to share in issues of national importance, national concerns, whatever reservations you may have. You may want to praise, you may want to condemn something, but of course, even in condemning, there are ways in which you do it on national radio. The number as usual is on screen, is 435-2041, or you can also place your comments, suggestions via our social media platform, and that's WhatsApp, same number, 435-2041, or you can chime in via YouTube, yes, and via Facebook, yes. So it is what it is. Thursday as it is. It's an open line. We continue as it is. There's so many different topical issues across the world. The U.S. continues to transition its way from the Donald Trump era to now the Biden-Harris era, and certainly officials across the globe here in the region, they've continued to send their messages of congratulations to Joe Biden and Lady Harris. Classic, good morning, you're alive.
Yeah, good morning, brother Joe. How's everything?
I'm fine, thank you. Go ahead, please.
I'm the best in the whole world, living in Grenada, best place in the whole world, Grenada. Nice little country. Now, I listen to this when you say with the politics president in any case, you know. I listen, to the beginning to the end then. He talk good about plans he have for the world and what he have for America and what he have and what he have, you know. Well, I would like what I was doing when he coming as president in any case, you know. All the embargo they have on countries which in this modern time, in this COVID-19, we stop all over the world, people suffering right now with COVID-19. The economy falling, this falling, humanity falling, everybody, problem in the world. It's about the embargo, the foreign policy they have on people. It's about the embargo on the countries they have. For no reason at all, because the people maybe have the policy not the same as this. It's about the embargo on every country and make friends with everybody. They are not enemy, you know. Be friends with everybody in the world. Don't divide country and divide people and divide country and put who we want in power until the world is this. Embargo on North Korea, ease it up. Let North Korea and South Korea come as one people.
But do you think so that the whole issue just removing embargoes, do you think it is that easy? I'm assuming you would first have to consider why the embargoes are in place, what's the purpose that it serves, whether it is working or not. It is all part of their foreign policies, and
the foreign policy is ugly. I don't like foreign policy is very ugly for a nation who say they're mighty and the world is.
Yeah, but you have to say that objectively, sir. Mm-hmm. You have to say it objectively.
When Obama was in power, Obama eased up some sanctions in Cuba. When Trump put on more pressure. But when they impeached for the past, they impeached twice for a while. But he's a ball embargo on the world where you go.
Well,
he's a ball embargo.
Well, that would be a conversation that would continue over time.
Yeah, we could talk on. That's something to discuss in many cases, no?
That's a conversation that happen over time.
White House now have some policy inside there which is not nice and into the world. But
what policies are you referring to, sir?
Foreign policy.
Oh, you're still on the foreign policies?
Yeah, because they feel the world is theirs. And then what Hitler done in the past when he was there, say wicked, right? No, America say the world is theirs.
Okay.
Them say the world mighty. Them are the mighty power of the world. But everybody die, and what we have, so nobody. You have poverty in America more than anything in the world. Homeless people in the world inside America, and they think get that. But they think other people country and they want to bully. They must stop bullying people in the world.
Okay, sir.
And ease up the sanctions on the world and let the world run free.
Point well received.
Who is your friend or enemy? No, probably not.
Well received, sir.
Bully thing, they tell them to stop bullying the world and thing, man.
Okay, sir. Well accepted, well received. 435-2041, that is the number on the inside. It is Thursday. It's the 21st day of January. It's an open line. And the number on screen, 435-2041. You can call directly into the studio or you can submit your contribution via the WhatsApp portal. Classic, good morning, you're live.
Good morning, JC.
Good morning to you, sir.
How are you this morning, sir?
I am excellent as always.
I'm calling from Lacolang again. with this water in front of my house, the sewage water. Up to this time, nobody don't come and check it out. This is really disgraceful. I can't rest. I can't even stay inside my house. I'm a sick man. Sometimes I try to walk to go somewhere because the scent is so bad. Running like a raven now.
Is it something, sir, that the community, and I'm assuming they get the severity of it, but is there anything that the community can come together, maybe has that option been placed on the table?
No.
So I'm probably suggesting, because we have been making appeals, I know that you have been making appeals. Sometimes you don't necessarily, I don't want to say get radical, but sometimes you have to change the focus, and maybe it may be a little bit more effective if you come together as a community in a show of force and support for each other in the community, that maybe you might be able to effect some change a little bit much more quickly.
This is a health issue, you know.
No, I'm not disputing that. I'm agreeing with you 100%. And it's an appeal that you continue to make. I'm just saying sometimes when the people, the individuals that are placed in authority, when for some reason it seems as though your words it is falling on deaf ears, then maybe what has to be done is that a shift. Do something different.
The Minister of Health is really checking the thing because they go in our cupboard. We have something right here that is out of order.
Again, we continue to make the appeal with the hoping that, because I know that they do listen to the platform, it's an appeal from the Minister of Health, all ministries, whatever involved, to address that current sewage issue that is that's presently occurring inside of Lackaloo. It is a crisis it is, and certainly I don't know how much worse it can get before you is determined to be a crisis. 1-2 persons who not sure how much it's affecting, but one is bad enough, right? So because it is COVID period, we keep talking about encouraging persons to remain as healthy as possible, optimum health condition, and certainly I do hope and encourage that the authorities would they are listening and they would heed and they would beckon to the call this morning. 10 minutes gone past the hour is the sound of classic in the morning time. Let me see what is happening here. Okay, I'm going to go telephone line first before I go social media platform.
Yes,
Classic, good morning.
What's your name again? Joseph Cadore.
Good morning to you, sir.
How are you?
I am wonderful.
You know, I'm so happy that in the prelude to the program, you mentioned a very important thing there, asking people to avoid getting personal. I find people get too personal with me. I'm happy that you mentioned that so that they get to understand that I also, blind jackass as I am in this here country, have the right to express myself and whatever matter, as long as I stay away from slander, defamation, and libel, and of course, taboo and vulgar language, obscenity. I ain't doing that. But I had a nasty tongue one time, but by the grace of God, I've stopped. Listen.
Sure, go ahead.
Significant things. One, the call from that gentleman. Listen, in this here village, since 2010, the sewer system is broken. No, I am not quite certain. I tried to get in touch with the gentleman, I can't reach him. I hope he'd give me a call, 231 John. Let's talk about it. If the thing come out in your own place, if it come out in somebody else's place, but it is not related to the breakdown of the original function of the system, the filtration system, which broke since in 2010. They brought about 10 television cameras up here and so nothing has been done up to now. 2 governments, or let's say administrations, passed through that. So but it is essential because this is a public health matter. This can cause dysentery. This can create cholera. Once one person gets sick, the whole village goes down and it spreads. Canadians just seem to say, well, I should say, first of all, the administration, who do they expect to correct it? I will try to mobilize some of the other brothers and sons in the village to see what we can do here because this has to stop.
I agree.
Listen, substantive. By the way, before I go to 3 things, you want to bear with me this morning. The 21st of January 1974, Grenada was lit up. The Gary regime unleashed brute force against the people of this country. They tried to turn it around and make it look as all, but it was on the carnage. At this point in time, people were marching prior to a meeting in front of Otway House, which was intervened by Gary's Green Base secret police and his gang of thugs. bottle, stone, whatnot. They killed the president, the father of the then leader of the New Jewel movement, Rupert Bishop, inside that building. Then they ran off the policeman, took him out of the country and whatever. Today is a day of very much significant historical importance in this country because it was for that moment in this here country. Apart from all the violent incidents that Gary had unleashed on the people prior, that Grenadians' minds stoned. Young men, especially young men and women. Young men and women of this country understand. Leaders get to the stage that they feel that this country is theirs. It's happened in other places, but just talking about Grenada today. Gary thought that this country was his. If you read the report, the Hansard report, on the discussion in the House of Lords, on the 17th of December 1973, you will see that they knew everything that was happening in this here country, everything the British government. And they were calling on Gary to go easy with his people. However, in 1974, prior to the so-called declared independence, he unleashed violence on the people again. So therefore, this country was born in darkness. There was no electricity. There's strikes all around, left, right, and center. And that brought about a turning point in Grenada. The independence was imposed upon us. And that's where I'm going to end my contribution this morning.
Thank you very much, sir.
No. I want to talk about the independence. I want to call on the authorities of this here country, the so-called authorities, in the so-called state, to show the people, of this here country, the Constitution Act of Grenada. Note what I say. I'm not talking about the Constitution order. I'm speaking about the Constitution Act that makes the Constitution of Grenada legal and legitimate. Further than that, I would like them to show the people of this here country the Independence Act. The Independence Act. All the countries of the world, save and except military dictatorship, have an Independence Act. In other words, the independence had been declared, and then a law made in the Parliament or the House of Assemblies or whatnot, and democratically accepted by the people through popular referendum. I cannot find it in none of my searches.
Okay, sir.
And there are other people who cannot find it either. So I'm calling on the authority as they celebrate, quote-unquote, 47 years of this fast to show the people of Grenada the Independence Act. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. All the best to you. 435-2041. It is 60 minutes gone past the hour in the morning time. We continue. It's an open line. Let's see. This sewage problem has been brought to the attention of the Ministry of Health several times on air. The community should take their feces to the minister's home or office. A bit extreme, but 60 minutes gone past the hour. It is classic in the morning. Go ahead, you're live.
Yes, I would like.
Great, that's
hello.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I would like Citizen Rolo to tell me if he know of any government that just sat there and people stood up or start fighting them and do not take action against those persons who try to overthrow them in whatever form, whether they're right or they're wrong. If they just sit there would stand firm and try to stop these people, whether the authority right or not. But he must stop calling again so-called this and so-called that. I think he's an educated guy, and he must really try to get some wisdom and stop that so-called government and so-called whatever government that we pass under or administration. They were leaders of the country. So in those so-called voting or not, whatever it is, you call them leaders. And I know fully well that where he were before in the government who he had supported. So he knows better than that. He's not a fool. He's very knowledgeable of a lot of things. But he must stop that and talking about so-called this and so-called that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. 435-2041, 18 minutes gone past the hour in the morning time. It's to the point. It's an open line. We head back to the social media platform. Let's see what's happening here. Again, this person says it is a public health issue and calling upon the government to offer some immediate recourse to the issue. Telephone 452041. Good morning, you're live.
Morning, Joseph.
Good morning to you.
Yes, this Mr. Allen, you have a problem with the so-called thing. You must have respect. You want people to respect, you must have respect. Everything he condemning so-called this, so-called that. See what is the so-called? He must have respect. You want people to respect him, he must have respect too. I knew he and he start with it. And he don't want to take wrong fight. You know, if he wrong, he don't take it wrong. He must stop it. He too big for that. Everything is a so-called, so-called, so-called. He must stop it.
Thank you very much. 19 minutes gone past in the morning time. It is still the Point open line. Today you get an opportunity to share things of public interest and concern to you. Again, we continue to appeal to the government, to health ministry, public health that's become a public health issue in the Lackalome area, the issue of the sewer. Classic, good morning, you're live.
Joe.
Good morning.
That sewer system in, how you call the place, in Lackalome.
Yes.
You think is now the people complaining? You think is now public servants, what you call them, Nicholas Steve, because these people are public servants because we pay their salary.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact.
That is a fact.
Right. He come on the radio, public servant again, how you call him, Oliver Joseph. And I think that Oliver Joseph should be ashamed. He have no shame. He should resign or not even think about contesting for the next election, because it has been drawn to all of them attention over and over, probably since 2010. And this thing is embarrassing and shameful. And Oliver, I call on you to either resign or do something to get it done, because it's not healthy. This thing is actually stink, you know. And also, I want to say on this thing about respect. I don't believe you see, so-called. I don't really particularly like it. But I am saying to you that people must be aware that, you see, Donald Trump was a chief public servant of the United States. Joe Biden right now is a chief public servant. And so Keith Rowley, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, and Keith Mitchell. The fact is that when these people get into office, they are public persons that I, Anne-Marie, and other people pay their salary. So they must put it in a pipe and smoke it. They're public servants to serve this country, whom the taxpayers are paying and have entrusted them to manage their affairs. In this regard, my name is Anne-Marie. If somebody calls me Anne-Marie, that is no disrespect to the person, because they have a problem in this thing because of that's called Keith Mitchell, a disrespect. But let me just say abundantly, I do not disrespect Keith Mitchell. That is his name, and I will be calling him by that name. I understand, I acknowledge the fact. Listen to me.
I'm listening.
He is the Prime Minister of Grenada. That's a fact that no one cannot change, including myself. But to say calling him by Keith Mitchell is a disrespect. That is his name, and he better put it in the pipe and smoke it.
I think
I'm paying his salary.
And I agree with you on the paying of the salaries.
Yeah.
But my concern personally, that names are not an issue.
No.
But certain individuals, if they were based on the title that they hold, the position that they hold, there is a reasonable sense of obligation in terms of the office. Now, for example, I'm Joseph. I have no problem with you calling me Joseph. So you said to me, good morning, Joseph. I'll say good morning to you, Anne-Marie.
All right.
But if I go, morning, Joseph, I obviously realize that the tone is a condescending tone. Good morning, Joseph. Then the tone changes.
Right, okay.
And that's where very often the tone is not happy, because it denotes a sense of disrespect. That is my concern.
Right, but what I'm saying to you, I don't have to call any person, whether it's Rowley in Trinidad or Kamala or even Donald Trump.
Once it's done with respect.
I don't have to call them Prime Minister or President. Because they are public servants.
And I agree.
The thing about it with these people, and I'm not talking about Grenada, let's look at the zero in the whole world. This is why they just give politicians too much leeway. Because these politicians are really supposed to be servants of the people, you know.
Yes, they're servants of the people, but in the same token,
I don't have to call
we
them.
have to respect the office. Because what's going to happen tomorrow?
I don't have to call them Prime Minister.
But respect the office.
Right, respect the office, but I don't have to call like Donald Trump. I don't have to call him Donald Trump. I don't have to call him President Trump. I don't have to call Keith Mitchell Prime Minister. His name is Keith Mitchell.
His name is Keith Mitchell, but he is also the Prime Minister.
Right, okay, but his name is Keith.
Respect must be given to the office. Because remember, when we're referring to the leader of the country, it is not just an individual, because tomorrow, Dr. Mitchell may not be in office.
Right, okay.
It may be a daughter, uncle, some niece of yours. And respect must be given to the office. You don't have to like the individual. I don't have to be party-wally with them. But what we do is show respect to the office.
His name is Keith Mitchell.
And that is understood. That is understood. Yes, we know what his name is, but I would contend forever that there must be some respect that is shown to the office of the Prime Minister. And I wouldn't get into a long argument with that. 435-2041, that is the number on the inside. It is 25 minutes gone past the hour. The phone line is ringing, but they have to take a quick commercial break. And we're going to be right back. Master Control, very quick one.
Now we can stay safe while at the same time reducing our budget to maintain a clean and safe environment at our home, school, office, church, or even on the bus. Fortune Foods has gone a long way to source premium products that are at least 30 to 50% less than other brands. That's right, 30 to 50% cheaper than other brands. We have a multi-purpose 80% strength liquid sanitizer for cleaning surfaces that is also safe on hands, as well as 70 to 75% gel sanitizers available in 1 gallon and smaller sizes. Plus, when you buy in bulk, you save even more. Right now, every dollar counts. Be wise. Sanitize with Fortune Foods' range of sanitizing products.
Distributed by Fortune Foods Company Limited, Tempe, St. George's. Telephone 435-2247.
As the hour, welcome back to The Point. We head straight to the telephone lines. Classic, good morning, your life.
Good morning, my darling brother JC.
Good morning to you, and how are you?
How you do? I'm fine.
I'm excellent as always.
If you're fine, I'm fine too. By the grace of God.
I'm good. That's good.
Let me put God first. The amount of thing I know, JC. You see that lady that just started? It wasn't for me that he paying interest in the bank. She would not have get money.
Okay. No. We don't want to go down that road this morning. I keep saying the platform is not intended for us to start. We don't necessarily always agree with everything that everyone would say, and I understand that. But we don't want to dilute the purpose of the platform where we start nitpicking and going after each and every person's individual. Some person we may not agree with them, but we're not going to get into this down the road as to, yes, we know we are taxpayers who we pay, but we do not necessarily need to go down that road. I am definitely sorry. Let's see. This person says his name is Keith Mitchell. He has no respect for Grenadians, so we don't have respect. So why doesn't he have respect for our teachers and public officers? And yet again, I would contend, forget the individual that is in there and focus on the office. Classic, good morning, you're live.
Hi, morning, Mr. Cadore.
Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, people making a lot of fuss about Keith Mitchell and son, but nothing wrong with that. Because for the 4 years Donald Trump in power, you don't hear anybody call him President Donald Trump.
No, that's not necessarily true. That is not necessarily true, sir.
All news you listen to.
That is not true. That is not true. And we would not, sir, we're not going to argue here, which I think is something that is just basic. They would say President Trump. We're not talking, this is not about late night shenanigans on television with for ratings. All of the major news networks, when they refer to President Trump, they refer to him as president, even after that's who they are. President Trump, President Joe Biden. And I think we need to, as a nation, get to a point. And that's why I keep saying that we behave as though we allow unto ourselves when it comes to how we castigate and chastise our young people, that they have no respect. But it has to come to a point where whether or not somebody doesn't show respect doesn't make it right or wrong, make it right that we continue to promote that sort of behavior. It isn't right. Respect is due to the office. Like him, whether you like him or not, you don't have to like him. Just respect the office. Classic, good morning, you're live. 435-2041. It is a number on the inside. Let's see what's happening on social media. As Prime Minister, his action does not deserve the respect because he is not respectful to the people of the country. And you may be right or wrong. That is your opinion. And I'm not going to get into that. So my question to you is, if we continue to promote this sort of behavior where we don't show respect to individuals, what do we leave for our generation to come? 10, 15 years from now, we will continue to make the cry that our young people, they have no respect for one another. When they start to disrespect the Prime Minister, they will disrespect their preachers. They go to school, they then disrespect their teachers. When they try disrespecting their teachers, they then disrespect their parents. And yes, caller, I agree, the person contributing here, that respect is to be earned. But in the meantime, we have an obligation to our nation to encourage healthy societal practice that of respecting one another. When you are growing up, as wait on the next call, we're going to get to that. There's a caller online. Classic, good morning. You're live.
Good morning, Mr. Batiste.
I'm Cadore.
Oh, Cadore. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Could you just do me a favor and turn down the device that's in the back? Radio or television?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Oh dear.
Tell me.
The caller that you had, the female caller, not the elderly woman, right? I don't want to call her by name.
Right.
It's disgusting that our children has to be exposed to her behavior. We're not seeing her face to face, but we get the body language, even not seeing her face to face. She hasn't changed. There is a lack of respect. And sometimes, I think you ought to cut her off. And if we have to score you this morning, I think I'd give you 100%. I'll give you 100%. Honestly, I will give you 100%. You stood up and you are standing up. Respect ought to be given where it should be given. And you give respect, you get back respect. That's how it is. If you deem somebody to be disrespectful, does not mean you have to be disrespectful. Because you become disrespectful, everybody sees you as a disrespectful person. But you give respect, it comes right back to you. Right back. And honestly, children listening to this woman, it doesn't send a good picture. And God knows sometime in this world why some people don't have kids. Because we don't know. It would have been a rotten bunch, perhaps.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much. 435-2041. That is the number on the inside. Let's see. This person says he's not just Prime Minister. He is Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Dr. Keith Mitchell. Right is right. We go back to social media. Active platform this morning. He says, you're correct. President and prime ministers need to be recognized for their office and the positions that they hold. And that's one of the challenges within our society, that we because we're small, we assume that we can just say what we want. Remember when you were growing up and your mother said to you, listen to me, your mother and your parents could be quarreling out on your neighbors, fighting as bull. But as a child, what I tell you, that's big people affair. When you're passing, you say good morning. It is what we need to teach our young people. And do not tell me because X, Y, and Z does not show respect, that we need to publicly go ahead and promote it as a way of life in this country. No can do. Classic, good morning, you're alive. 29 minutes on to the hour.
Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning to you, sir.
I certainly just want to make a statement re what has been said there, because you know, I am saying that you know that when Mr. Tillman Thomas was Prime Minister, Dr. Kit Mitchell called him Till Boy, right? And the Prime Minister, Dr. Mitchell, is on record as saying that he's going to make this country ungovernable. So, in looking at things, we must see where is this coming from. You know, my father used to say, is the change that does ring. And the Prime Minister usually says, what goes around comes around. But I conclude he says that.
Right.
But he doesn't believe that. I just add that as I said. But what I wanted to call to say this morning, really, is that I don't know if it's been said yet, because I started with you on the Good Morning program, but I had to leave. I came back.
Okay.
Today, January 21st. I don't know if anybody said or you remembered that it is what we remember as Bloody Monday. Have a good day.
Well, let me ask you before you go, sir, and I'm just asking generally, at what point do we break the cycle? At what point? At what point do we break the cycle? We're preparing our young people to be leaders of tomorrow. It's not everything. There are a lot of things we don't agree with. And we want to adopt this culture in the U.S. where, okay, you go on late night shows and you say what you want. That has its place and time. But if you're referring, forget the man. Stick to the office. Classic, good morning. You alive? Good morning, caller. You alive?
Good morning, Mr. Joe.
Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah. Now, if I were to put my point, not 1% into this thing about name calling and this and that, respect and not respect. Now, people on respect. I'm not saying that anybody right to say this or that. But let me give you an example. For example, if I were to say the Prime Minister, I was giving a speech and I said the Prime Minister did so. And then I might, along the line, maybe in the middle of the speech or quarter of the speech, I said, the Prime Minister name, I called him Mr. Kit Mitchell. Or then afterwards I said he. Whom am I referring to? In other words, what I'm trying to say, I find, I'm not saying that the lady is disrespectful. It's how she expresses herself. Maybe because according to how you put emphasis on words, it could have different meaning. Because suppose I say, Joe, you'll feel, oh, this man call me rough, so. But I say, Joseph, how are you? There's a different connotation. There's a different concept.
And I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you wholeheartedly, sir. That there's communication, and there are different facets to communication.
Yes.
So I say the Right Honorable Dr. Keith Mitchell.
Yes.
And that may not necessarily mean that I'm being respectful.
Definitely.
Because my body language, my facial expression may denote something differently. And we are in the purpose here and understanding what our role here. You know, we complain. Well, X, Y, Z, this is what society has become. Yeah. If I decide to put on a tune that may, let's say, contain obscenities, I bet you before the song is halfway through, they will say, do you have no respect with this and that? What about our moral values? So why then do we assume that it's okay?
You see,
we have to teach our children, preserve what little we have, and build on it for a generation that is to come. Yes, you learn respect, but when your children, they're growing up, what do you do? From the time they can speak, don't we teach them certain values? Don't we? We teach them values, and that's what it has to be. The conversation has to be ongoing, where we understand. We don't always agree. Some people may not do it, but as a whole, as a society, we need to. Classic, good morning. You're live.
Citizen
I beg your humble indulgences for 1 minute.
Go ahead, sir.
Listen, I just want to give a couple of... I want us to pay attention. I don't have time now, so the difference between respect, which is mutual, and reciprocal is like friendship, or in the same category. Mutual and reciprocal. And secondly, let us not make the mistake to equate respect with deference, deference, with adulation, adulation or tion, adulation, and something called truckling, which is nothing but obsequious obedience. Let us not equate these things because they're totally different. And as it relates, I hope the line is drawn through this one time. To my reference to the state official in the state of Grenada, as a so-called, here's why. I asked the question in my first intervention. If anyone in this here country can show me, John Anthony Rollo, and any other body in this person in this here country, the Constitution Act, to prove that in effect what is happening in the governance of this country is not what you call an abuse of power, then I will stop immediately.
Okay,
or
sir.
you can pull me in the center of St. George and cut out my tongue.
Fair enough, sir.
Have a nice day, will you?
Well noted. 435-2041. And that is the number in the inside. It is 22 minutes on to the hour of 10 o'clock. Classic. Good morning. You're alive.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you doing?
Wonderful, thank you.
You're all right. You know, some of us, we talk about respect, disrespect, but you know, all showing the same thing. Because when you come and you make your contribution, and you come and condemning me in this harsh way, you disrespect my opinion too, you know. So I just want to say this morning, Joseph, I was thinking about the people. Over 300 people, young people, was on this boat walking. Some of them home now. Some of them must be saved little money. But by the time they save this little money, you know it's going down. You know it's going down. When I think about the people in the market with a little tray and selling little spices, and they home now, nothing doing. They have the bills to pay still, and they have the life, they have the family to maintain still. So I want us to think about it. Let them hear that we know, we studying this struggle. We know they was there making a little day work, getting a little money, and now they have nothing coming in. So if they sit down by the radio and they hear, well, you know, somebody talking about that, may give them a little strength. That might give them a little hope. Because trust me, people, it's hard. It's rough. You think it's easy to get up in the morning, you don't have a job, and you have your family to maintain. And then when we listen to the radio, we hear all this fighting and, you know, come on, people. Let us think about them. Even though you get up in the morning, just ask God to provide for them. Tell them that they could get something to go by. After all, let us have love.
Thank you very much. 19 minutes on to the hour of 10 o'clock in the morning time. It is to the point. It's an open line. We go right back to the telephone. Classic, good morning. You're live.
Yes, good morning, Jay.
Good morning to you, sir.
I am rather disturbed by a number of preceding calls this morning and the content of the calls. JC, we must display respect in our utterances and our general behavior and live up to descriptive titles attached to our name. Honorable doesn't mean dishonorable. Right doesn't mean wrong. Doesn't mean right. Doesn't mean wrong. The fact is, I have heard certain political figures, especially the individual that was implicit in the conversation this morning. I have heard utterances from that person's mouth that isn't good thing enough for a pig to listen to. Nasty remarks made about Nazim Buck, about Tillman Thomas, and about Ali Dawson, and about this, that person, and the other. Very nasty remarks. And none of you who might be on the same platform with him, interviewing him, dare tell him not to say that. So, the fact remains, when you deserve respect, you can command respect, and you must act respectfully so that people would give you the kind of respect. I think some of the callers this morning, they must pay attention to the behavior of the specific individual and ask themselves, is that respectful? Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your contribution. 4352041. It's to the point. It is Thursday, the 21st day of the month of January. We go back to the telephone lines. Classic, good morning. You're live.
Good morning, Mr. Joe.
Good morning to you.
And how are you?
I am wonderful, thank you.
I believe that the answer for these things is the fear of God, the beginning of knowledge. I don't dispute about education. It will be educated, But the fear of God is the beginning of knowledge. It doesn't matter who it is, that if you don't fear God, you can have all kind of ugly conversation and you don't understand what you're saying, rebuking people. That last lady talked about you disrespecting people, correcting them. No, you don't disrespect people for correcting them. You disrespect yourself for correcting a child when the child go wrong. The Prime Minister have a right to have his title to the administration that he has, and you have to respect him. This is what I see. I don't educate it, I live school in Pole. But it has vexed my spirit sometimes. That the same gentleman that just come there, the fear of God is the beginning of their knowledge. They have to have knowledge, and then they know how to speak to people and about people. Okay, Mr. Joe?
Great, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
All right.
4352041. It's to the point, 16 minutes onto the hour in the morning time. Classic, good morning, you're alive.
Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, I just tuned in. I didn't know you had an open line today. Anyway, I didn't prepare anything to read this morning because I wasn't prepared for an open line. But, Joseph, I want to alert us Grenadians. I want people to recognize that the days and the times that we are living in, it is not time to make trouble and confusion and to condemn and to criticize. It is a time for retrospection. We have all to look inwardly at ourselves, and the fact is we're preparing so much for the future on the earth, but we don't have long here according to what's happening in the world and what the scripture has said concerning the end time. This is a time for us as Grenadians to get ready to meet God. It says we should prepare to meet your God. But that's the last thing on some people's bonnet. It should be the first thing. Prepare anything you got to do. Anywhere you have to go, you make a preparation. Preparing to leave the earth, that's the most vital preparation you could make. Because whether or not you do it, you're going to leave the earth. But where you spend eternity, where is your soul going to spend that eternity? You're not going to finish, because you see the Bible says we are made in the image and likeness of God. So you're going to live forever. But we must choose where we're going to live, where we're going to be for that eternity. It doesn't have end. And hell is not a place to go for eternity. We got to cleanse ourselves, ask God for mercy, ask God for forgiveness, and prepare to meet God. When we do that, our hearts will have the love of God in us. All this confusion will not be taking place. This backbiting and disrespecting, as people call it, this is not called for. We need to clean up. We need to get ready to meet God, because we truly do not have a long hair. When you look at the evidence of what's happening in the world, Jesus is coming.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. God bless.
4352041, that is the number in the inside, as we engage in To the Point for today, the 21st day of January. So much that we can talk about, and so much that is happening. Classic, good morning, you're live.
Joe.
Good morning.
Morning, how are you doing?
Wonderful, thank you.
Well, Joe, let me say something here. Let me add my little 1 cent, or whatever it is.
Sure, go ahead.
Respect is not something that you demand. Respect is something that you honor. Right? The thing about it is that, okay, I'm a parent, I'm a father, right? I have all my children, just an example, right? I don't showing them no regard, no respect, right? And should I, getting on and acting in front of them in any old way, so a drunk, a behaving in all kind of disrespectful, derogative way, and I feel, okay, because it's my children, they're supposed to respect me, because I'm the father, and I'm not showing them the kind of respect and regard. Should I? No, I'm just asking you.
Oh, you really want me to answer?
Yes, please. please, I beg.
If for some reason, sir, your children, whatever reason, they may have expressed they've been disrespectful to you in some regard.
No. I am asking you. I am the father. I'm not showing them no respect.
No. I'm going to give you. I'm offering you your response, sir. Mm-hmm. In case you want me to answer it in a particular way.
Okay, go on.
You are their father, and by virtue of that, there's a degree of respect that is expected, reasonably. Now,
me.
And I say something to you for me personally, and I've always said it, that I grew up without a father. He was a drunkard. But nobody would ever one day say to you that even long after, there was never the enemy could ever say to you, he never took care of me, and I never had anything bad to say about him. I had all the reasons in the world, sir, because he was what you call a bastard. But there was never a day. He never spent a dime on me. But when he died, I buried him. Because I have been taught certain values.
By your mother.
But I am grateful.
By your mother.
But hold on, sir.
Good.
But I am grateful that while he did not play the role that he played, the fact is that, as the son, I am due at least to give him a degree of respect.
Right. And you what? And you were taught. What you know, you were taught all these are noble attributes by your mother.
But it's the same people that we disrespecting, don't we? We all have a mother, and I'm very certain that all of our parents taught us to show respect.
Good.
So why is it then that because he's your father? And I think we have to get to a place. And I understand the point that you're making. But at the end of the day, sir, so, sometimes we go through life not realizing what tomorrow holds.
Okay.
And while we may not necessarily agree with everything that's around us, sir, life as it is like a fleeting moment. Today we're here and tomorrow we're gone. And we don't know tomorrow, 10, 15 years from now, that the people that we probably castigate, we treat them as whatever, you never know tomorrow. Where we might be, it may not be me, it may not be you, it may be what? Your grandchild, your grandniece, somebody. They may have to turn to them, and they may say to that person, you know what, I am going to be good to JC's son, because while I was not nice to him, at least because of him, I'm going to do this. And it's a general conversation, and I understand some of the vexation because of how we feel, or the emotions that we conjure, that sometimes it is difficult to appreciate the reality that, you know what, I could just say he's after he. And we feel that way. But it doesn't mean because we feel a particular way that everybody's doing it, that it makes it right.
I agree.
Sir.
But right. I'm going now. But remember, G, my boy, is that you had you both your mother and your father there, right? You didn't get it from your father, but you get it from your mother, right? So in other words, you had the other half there to bring you up in a straightforward way.
And for those who don't have the other half, we have the media and programs like this to ensure that we instill and inculcate good values to
I am not saying no. A point well taken, but at the end of the day, my dear boy, respect is not something that you demand. Respect is something that you earn, and we have to get that in the marrow of our bones. Yeah?
I would agree with you in some capacities.
We have to get that in the marrow of our bones.
And here's what I say. Before you go, because if I meet you in the morning, I go on the bus, and I don't have a clue. These are people I see for the first time. Don't you say good morning?
Yes, of course.
Oh, so why do you say good morning?
Why? Listen to me. Because you know it's the right thing to do.
Because it is what? It's a respectful thing to do. That you say good morning.
But you get that somewhere.
But no. But here's the point that I'm making. You go onto the bus, you walk into GB, and you walk into a public place, and you say good morning. Do you wait for somebody to say good morning?
Well, you shouldn't.
Thank you. My point exactly, sir.
You shouldn't.
Because there's a natural obligation when I say good morning. And when I try, if I see somebody, good morning, and I don't necessarily wait for them to respond.
Well, of course not.
Because common courtesy.
Of course not.
I don't have to know you, but there's something called common courtesy.
Exactly.
And yes, I buy into the argument that if you don't give it, you may not tend naturally. The person may not reciprocate.
I agree.
But
I
we
agree.
still have a natural responsibility.
My thing again, and I will die saying that respect is not something you demand. It's something that you own.
Well, the Prime Minister never never demanded it. I am encouraging.
No. Listen, Jay. Listen.
Time is running out.
No. I'm not referring to any particular person now.
Right.
Anybody. It doesn't matter. No, hold on. One more little thing I want to say. Right. Jay, concerning this the parents and this computer, the latest technology, right? The latest technology. What has invaded or what has invaded us.
Yes.
Right. No. What I'm saying is right. Our parents, our children born in it, right? So they will know everything about it.
Correct.
Our parents doesn't is not cannot really the thing, right? Is not really so knowledgeable. So my simple suggestion is the government should embark on a program like in every village. Come in the community centers and try to, or maybe on the radio, on the TV, and embark on programs. Have programs trying to educate parents about these things.
And
what do you think about that?
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I applaud it 100%. That's why you need to continue listening to GBN. And the same idea you have, I think not just while the government. They have a responsibility too. I think what we can do as citizens, we can come together. We recognize a need. Yeah. Maybe we can say, listen, you have a conversation with even maybe a child that's at secondary school, TMCC. And they say, how about, with the approval of the parent, that you come together? But I'm agreeing, yes. The government has his place. But I think collectively, remember, I think we have a responsibility to realize that, again, it used to happen in the past, where it took a village
to grow a child.
Exactly. We need to go back to those days.
Anyway, thanks.
All the best to you, sir.
Right.
It's about 5 minutes on to the hour in the morning time. All good things must come to an end indeed. And certainly we want to say thanks to all those of you that made your contribution to the program. Before we leave again, we want to make an appeal, a loud and explosive appeal to public health officials that you attend to address with a measured urgency, that issue of the sewer issue that's been plaguing the residents of Lac-Lome. Certainly we hope that it is long overdue, and within a measure of time, something will be done to alleviate their concerns and their problem. 4 minutes on to the hour, that's where I say goodbye to you. I want to say thanks to all of those of you that made your contribution via the different platforms, and I agree that there's too much negativity and not good. It's not good for the country, and we need to come together and realize that we may have different lines, divisive lines, things that we don't agree and disagree, but there's some things that are just absolutely right and wrong, and we have to adhere to it. So long, everybody. JC loves you. Have yourself a really, really wonderful day, and continue being productive Grenadians as we continue our march towards our 47th anniversary of independence. So long, everybody.